Speaking of things that are real bad.
Very good.
This fucking game.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor. Oh my god, it's finally fucking over, Warren.
And I'm Maddy Gray. I can't think of anything funny to say. I'm Maddy Grace Webb, and yeah, we finished this fucking video game. Holy moly! What episode is this?
This is episode 9.
We've been recording Septerra Core since the beginning of time.
We've been recording this game
for
10 million years.
Yeah. The dawn of time started with the Big Bang and Septerra Core.
Yeah.
This week was nice though. I only had to play for like 3.5 hours. No, it was like 3 hours. It was like 3 and 5. It was like 3:05. It was great. That's nice. Me. That's including me like accidentally casting a spell on my own party that killed everyone instantly and had to load my game, and then dealing with a bug for 30 minutes that I'll mention later.
Yeah. So I calculated, I went and looked at when our first episode of this game went up, and when we finish movie night next week, this will have been our current game for 13 weeks, which is definitely the longest one that we've had.
Holy shit.
And because Persona was 11 weeks because we didn't do a movie night. And so it was the 10 months plus finale.
Surely we had like a gap. Surely we had 1 or 2 bye weeks during that though. Maybe not.
No. We didn't it back.
Back when we
had Space Funeral. That was the only bye week. So like maybe 12. It's tied with Persona. Yeah.
But due to like
been a long ass time.
Due to like the game's length, due to the movie night, due to also just like life reasons, having to cancel shit, due to qualities of the game itself, like having to modify our schedule so that I'm not playing 15 fucking hours of gameplay for a variety of reasons. It has been a long fucking series.
Yep. But it's over now. So we can move on with our lives. And I don't know. As a peek behind the curtain, and as a peek behind the curtain, it has only been 3 days since we recorded the last week's episode because Eli couldn't record. Well, first we were like, oh, let's not record on Sunday because it's Valentine's Day, and then we're like, well, we'll catch up sometime this week, and then Texas froze over. So it was all the way until Thursday when it was possible.
But even though we
finally recorded, I was no longer having power outages.
Yeah. And even though we didn't get it done till Thursday, and for those calendar files out there, you probably already know that Thursday and Sunday are in fact 3 days apart. We were all like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, real heads know the relative positions of Thursday and Sunday on the calendar.
God, I had no idea. I need to really get up to speed on my calendar lore.
I wasn't really aware of calendar, but then of weekdays. But then Rebecca Black really put it on my radar, and after hearing her song, I went and started. I realized it was something I really needed to do my research about.
I knew about Friday from The Cure.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know about Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday until Rebecca Black sang her song. So anyway, I realized that I needed to educate myself. So I went and I learned, and I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm doing.
You've really come a long way, Maddy. I'm very proud of you.
I'm doing growth. And yeah, anyway, the point is it has been 3 days since Thursday, but we realized that there's fuck all to play on this game, and I always play on Saturday nights anyway. So we're just like, fuck it, let's just fucking do it. Let's do it. Let's pick up.
I did it during work today. Nobody tell Mr. Blizzard.
I was gonna do some side quests, but I meant to start streaming on Saturday. But instead of starting streaming at like 7 or like 8 or like 9 or like 10. I didn't get started till like 11. So needless to say, I did not do any side quests. I just equipped my characters kind of, and then went to the dungeon and said, fuck it. I'm sorry to the pigeons out there. I'm sorry, birds. I did not feed you. I'm sorry.
I saw that you messaged us at like almost 5 a.m. for me.
No, it was for you, yes, because it was like
for me, like, yes, it was like almost 3 a.m.
like
for you.
2, but maybe it was 3 actually. But yeah. Anyway, no. I remember I actually told my stream. I think I said when it was around 1 p.m. I was like just guessing how much dungeon was left, and I was like, I think I'll be done with this by 2, and I ended up ending my stream at exactly 2 a.m.
Nice.
I waited an extra 30 seconds so that I could end it right at 2 a.m. But anyway, yeah, it was by far the least amount of play we've done. And also, as far as awful dungeons go, this one isn't even as bad as some of the previous ones. The final dungeon in this game is and that's not even contextually just because it's the only thing we did this week. Like, it is objectively a way shorter dungeon than the one last time. Which is interesting and cool. It's literally half the length I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So real quick, just because I remembered it, because we're about to just dive the fuck in, because nothing has happened, but we've played Septerra Core since Thursday.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Rebecca Black. So it is the 10-year anniversary of Rebecca Black's Friday. And so she did a 10-year anniversary version, and like,
oh shit,
Taylor Swift did a 10-year anniversary version of her old album from 10 years ago, and that one's coming out, and like that one is basically she just re-recorded it. She's just a better musician now, so like sounds better, it's mixed better, her vocal qualities are a little less auto-tuned, but it's basically the same song. Rebecca Black's version has new features. It has three new features, and the song itself kind of just feels like coked up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's like not any better. It's actually worse than the original Friday.
Oh no!
I feel like that's like the correct way to do it. Like, if you're gonna remake Friday, the right thing to do is to make it worse.
Make it worse.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like it's not worse enough to be like, oh wow, they somehow made something worse than the original Friday. Go and look at it, because that's already been done. That's called Sunday. It was the Christian cover of Friday. It's like it took three months for someone to be like
that's like the Christian cha-cha slide that someone sent me the other day.
If as an aside to this aside, if you have not seen Easter Sunday, the Rebecca Black Friday parody, you owe it to yourself to watch it. It is the most horrifyingly bad thing, and that's coming from, it's a parody of Rebecca Black's Friday, which is famous for being bad. Anywho, so I don't recommend going and listening to the new version of Friday, because it's just kind of worse. And one of the features is 303, and they are documented pedophiles, as we found out this week. Ooh. And fuck them.
Also, frankly, I'm not saying that the pedophile part isn't bad, but what I am saying is that even if we didn't know that, shame on you for featuring 303. They suck. It's a stupid band, but also, like, of course they are.
I don't know anything about that band, so
you probably would if you heard songs. You were alive the same time we were, and their stuff was all over.
I'm just saying, like, that music scene is not exactly known for not pedophilia.
Exactly. But I am actually recommending you go and watch the music video for it.
Oh, I will.
Not because it's any good, but because, like I mentioned, the song was a little coked up. The music video is actually just cocaine. It is not even coked up. It is like the percentage of coke to make the music video is double that of what you could fit if a person was taking up the same amount of spot. It is a lot of cocaine.
It
is very bonkers. And like, baffling that it exists. And so I watched it the other day. I couldn't even like show it to Summer because I was like, oh, hey, a 10th anniversary video. And I just was like in a fugue state for the 2.5 minutes it took to watch it. And it is very weird. And I highly recommend you watch it. We all know
she actually dropped an actual straight up new single and video like a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. She's actually...
It fucking slaps. Like, it owns.
Yeah. So
also she's
about 6 months after Friday came out, she had like her first real single, and that one was okay. And she's had a couple like things every now and then that have been decent, but she's been like, she was on, I think The Voice was the one she was on,
something like that,
not too long, something like that. And like since then she's been kind of like pushing herself harder again, and good on her, because like she's actually very talented.
I 100% stand Rebecca Black
a dumb
rules.
Kid. Yeah.
Also, but, frankly, I was talking about this with my girlfriend recently. As far as Rebecca, as far as like that guy, that producer guy who was running this like scam of like, let's get kind of like rich kids' parents to pay for me to make them a music video, right? Kind of like a kind of a grifter. Out of all the songs that he produced, Rebecca Black's is by far the best.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Oh, also real quick, sorry, I know you said that it was only been a few days since last time we talked, but well, on Thursday I didn't say something really important about my week, which is that my my girlfriend and colleague's Kickstarter wrapped up, and they made a bitch ton of money. It was this phenomenally successful Kickstarter. Thank you so much to anyone listening to this who went and backed it. They blew past their initial goal. They eventually blew past their, quote, pie in the sky goal, such that they had to make up new goals. And when you do Kickstarters, you have these little tools that predict based on how things are going, how much money you're going to end up making based on like the way that trends usually go with Kickstarters. And it was predicting a certain amount. And just 24 hours before it got there, actually even more than that, more like 18 hours before it was over, the number was significantly less than that predicted amount. And my GF was a little disappointed. And they were like, well, okay, like on one hand, yes, this is higher than I originally anticipated it to be, like way higher, but it's not as high as the algorithm said it was going to be. So it's like, I'm a little disappointed, right? And then the next 18 hours happened. And it still ended up being around 1.5k less than the algorithm predicted, but that's very, very close. Like, it turns out that it significantly accelerated at the end, and it always does, but it was more than we thought it was going to. So they were like, never mind, forget what I said about being a little disappointed. Holy shit. So anyway, and because of that, they got to do so many amazing stretch goals. Like, holy cow, this is such a better and more exciting project than it was when they first launched it, because now it's like, oh, we have to make all these awesome expansions now, whereas before it was like, we have ideas, but anyway, the point is, for everyone who supported it, thank you so much. For everyone who didn't support it, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. For everyone who didn't bite the bullet or hadn't heard of it till now, because maybe you weren't listening, because maybe you're listening to this later, definitely go check it out, especially with all these supplementals. It's going to be dope as hell. So had to say that. I've been mentioning that every week, so I had to give you the dramatic conclusion. I think the game's scheduled to ship into the year. I think something like that. I'm not actually sure. Nice. Don't quote me on that, please.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. I did not back it, but
that's only because that's because they're literally my girlfriend. So,
and I also am technically between jobs, as I talked about last week. So money has been tight, but I will definitely pirate their video game, not their video game, their board game from online. I will find the Pirate Bay of tabletop role playing game PDFs, and I will I will steal the crap out of it.
I'm pretty sure that should just ask me for a PDF.
Probably so.
Maddy, can I have a PDF?
It's literally my girlfriend. I mean, I would have to get that cleared. I have a little bit of money. I would probably just give it to you as a gift if you really wanted it. But anyway, whatever. Yeah. Point is, I'm excited about that. So also next time you hear me, I'll probably be in a new place.
Hell yeah.
I'm not 100% sure because we record on Sundays, and technically, yeah, I mean, Sunday's my last day here. Next Sunday is the end of the month. So unless for some reason,
and as we know, Sunday is 3 days after Thursday.
Exactly. I mean, unless I feel like moving everything into my new place, getting a U-Haul, doing the entire move, cleaning the entire room, and 100% moving out, and then for some reason I decide to sit down and record a podcast in the old room. Unless that happens for some reason, then yes, I will be in a new place next time you hear me.
Hell yeah. Love that. Speaking of things I love, let's listen to a Halo track, and then we'll talk about things that I don't love. When we last left our heroes, they were doing side quests and not getting on Disgaeus's ship because they had just got the swords that let them kill Disgaeus. So they, why am I saying Disgaeus? Like it's a fucking Disgaea game. It's definitely Doscius.
Definitely Doscius. The game does have voice acting. We have heard what it sounds like.
Weird. That
Doscius.
Yeah, the dusky ass man. The Watchers shot his ship down, and we're going to go in and stop him from doing the thing. So we head to Shell 2 and to go and stop him, and he has some sort of a energy source on the bridge of his ship protecting him, and we can shut it down, but it'll only be down for a second or whatever. So we have to split the party so two teams can go and take down the generators so that our final team can go through. Maya can go there because of she's the main character, so she has to be there. The only people that have to be there for plot reasons are Corgan and Selena because they have the blades. So we get to Final Fantasy VI it up and split the party, but we don't get to pick who's on each team. So the first team is kind of bad. It's Grub, Runner, and Badu. That's not a well-rounded team at all. You have a really fast guy and the two slowest guys. But other than that, I didn't play it. Was that... How was this leg of the dungeon?
All right.
I cheated, so
here's the thing. So here's the thing about this dungeon. Okay. First of all, splitting the party, not letting you choose, is kind of neat for two reasons. One, remember those side quests Sam told us about, where the characters don't like each other and they hit each other in combat? That's how these teams are arranged. Which, frankly, failure of leadership on the part of Maya.
Yes.
A good organizer needs to know about the internal dynamics of the people involved in a project and manage those frictions accordingly. But given that I did not do either of those, so like the second and third parties both have like lead attacking Lobo, and then when Night Guy Corgan attacking Sexy Lady, which is really funny. It's actually not that big of a deal. It doesn't happen too often. It's just sometimes it happens, and you're like, oh, right, that that kind of annoyed me. I was planning on casting a spell this turn, but whatever. But that's actually, I think that's actually hilarious game design. It almost reminds me a little bit of it's like a little tiny little germ of an idea, much more deeply explored in Mass Effect 2, right? Where on the final mission, all these decisions you've made previously affect what happens in the final mission. And you got to deal with it, which is cute. Anyway, beforehand, I did go and buy a bunch of equipment for everybody. You know how I talked about how money is fake? Turns out it stopped being fake. Turns out the in-game equipment, the equipment that's in the shops with all the best armors and stuff, is actually very expensive. So I got as best I could, but I'd already read on the walkthrough that the final bosses are really easy, so I wasn't too worried. So I spent all my money on items and equipment and figured I'd just be catching Black Hole every battle anyway, and then I skedaddled. So the way this final dungeon works is you start off with being just like Sam just said, Grub and Runner and Lobo. And it's interesting, and Badu, excuse me, yeah. And it's interesting because you get to the dungeon, and right off the bat, you're like, oh god, it's a 4-pronged dungeon. And then you realize, oh god, there's 3 different parties. Oh god, is it going to be like 3 different 4-part dungeons? And that's a total of 12 parts for you math heads out there. But it turns out, no. It turns out of this 4-pronged dungeon, your first party just does 2 of the prongs. And then your next party does the other 2 of the prongs, and then ironically, the actual hero party, Maya and Nightman and Sexy Lady, Billy Corgan and Selena Gomez. Ironically, these are the characters that all have the most connection to the plot. They're all the most heroic by far, right? Like Maya is like a chosen one type character. And then Billy Corgan and Selena both have very deep ties to the plot, so they're definitely the leaders of the group and the ones with the most plot energy behind them. They do almost nothing. They waltz down a hallway and fight a boss. That's all they do, which is really funny. But it does mean the dungeon is literally like 40% as big as I thought it was when I first got to it, which is nice. Since there's so little to talk about, I want to mention for my stream, I told you last time, I started playing licensed music on my stream, which is illegal, but I do it anyway, because I live my life on the edge. So I was playing Mahler. So if you want to hear some good classic, I mostly stick to music that I think probably won't get flagged. So it's like, not obscure music, but like I was playing some classical music, right? So I'm not going to be playing like modern pop music because that would get flagged. So anyway, yeah, if you want to hear some dope cuts from the classical world, check out my streams. We were listening to Mahler's Mahler Symphony No. 3, and I decided that's the longest symphony in the entire classical canon. It's really long. It's like hour and a half, hour 40. And I thought, what if we raced? What if we raced the symphony? I'm going to try and beat the dungeon before the symphony's over. Dear listeners, I did not finish the dungeon before the symphony was over, and it wasn't even close. Actually, it wasn't not close. I did not get through an entire other thing. So. Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to share that, and I'll update you on what other music I listen to as we go. But other thing though, this is both funny and interesting and part of my experience playing the game, and also a warning to all of you. So I'm playing the game, and I get to that entrance hallway, and I save, obviously, with a separate save file, right? And because it's a point of no return. And then I go to the first spoke, and I'm going through it, and it's a little slow because I'm getting used to the new enemy mobs, you know. I'm trying to conserve MP because I don't realize how short the dungeon is, so I'm like, okay, I don't have to use Black Hole here. I could use a Fire Summon to kill this monster. Again, conserving MP is really fun and interesting in this game. And then on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th battle, maybe, I accidentally cast a spell on my own party, and it murders the hell out of everybody, and I die. And then I find out, and then the game crashes. And then the game continues crashing every time I try to load, and I'm like, oh god, this is my final time streaming this game. Is it going to crash? What the fuck? I don't want to disappoint my viewers by being like, actually, I guess I'm just going to watch it. You know, I guess I'm just not going to stream it. I'm not going to finish the game that you've been watching me play. Turns out this game's got a really weird bug. Turns out if you save in that entrance hall, then that save is corrupt. And if you try to load it, the game crashes. I found this out because I tried loading I tried loading my world map save, and it worked just fine. So yeah, turns out you can't save in that entrance hall. So, but like if you save in that first spoke, you're fine. I tested it out. It's fine. I didn't test any other spokes. The problem is if I try to test it and it doesn't work, then I lose time, right? I just lost half an hour of gameplay. So I didn't test it, but also I didn't die anymore after I figured out the glitch. I didn't die anymore, so it didn't matter. But yeah, so when you get to this part, maybe actually do it on purpose. Test it out for yourself to see if you have this bug. If you don't, then that's fine. If you do, then be careful about it, okay? Yeah, it's just like, yeah. But again, once you're in the spoke, you save, you can load it. It's no problem at all. Yeah, so finally, to answer your question, with the party, here's the thing. Grub is the strongest magic user in the entire game, so holy shit, your spells are if you do Black Coal, it's like 900 damage to everybody, which is way overkill. So you can use cheaper spells and still kill everyone, or maybe like even just 2 Fire Alls. Like you do Fire All, and then Fire All again. However, there is one problem with this party, which is that to cast these good spells, you need backup. You need other characters to help you do joint Chrono Trigger style dual spells. And you're with the 2 slowest characters in the entire game. Yeah. So they are by far a bottleneck. You're sitting there waiting like, oh my god, Badu, please fill up 1 fucking charge of stamina so that you can cast a spell with me. You're not even doing anything. You're just sitting there while I, Grub, do all the work. So because the other 2 characters are really weak, and normally they are really strong, they do a shit ton of damage. Like, holy fuck, is Badu strong? And sometimes that would come in handy. I can have him finish off an enemy. He'll do like 200 damage with his physical attacks, even with like strong enemies with strong defense. But for the most part, their strength didn't matter because they were just being there while I cast spells. And Grub does have a small enough amount of health. Grub has a tiny, tiny amount of health that he actually could die pretty easily, even at this point in the game. So it was a very imbalanced party. It wasn't hard, but the imbalance gave it a lot of interesting contour, which is cool because for the most part, I've been blasting through the back half of this game with no trouble at all. So to have a kind of weird loopy party with some contour was interesting. And I will go ahead and just say for the next 2 parties, not as interesting. The second party is really, really good. I'll just put it that way. The second party is great. It works like gangbusters. All the characters have pretty high speed, and Led is great at magic. So I'm charging, I'm casting, I'm kicking ass. And then the final party is great too. So actually pretty darn interesting dungeon.
Nice. There is no plot besides flipping the switch to turn off the generator in the boss room for each of the first 2 parties. All the interesting stuff plot-wise happens with after you take control of Maya's group. So with the power barriers down, you head in, walk down the hallway, and first up is Caleb. And Caleb is like, why do you go against our savior? And Maya's like, he'll only use the gift for evil. Caleb says blasphemer, and the battle starts. He's definitely drinking the Doskius Kool-Aid. His fight looks cool, but also the Let's Play took him down in 1 hit with a single casting of Black Hole.
Really? Wow.
Was that how it worked for you?
No, it took a little bit more than that. So again, pretty. Oh, actually, I want to talk about the other 2 boss because there's 2 more boss fights before this. There's 2.
Oh yeah, the switchy bosses.
There's so little gameplay. I might as well tell you about the actually pretty interesting. There's so little plot. I might as well tell you about the actually pretty interesting gameplay because, like I've been saying, the back half of this game, the gameplay suddenly got quite a lot more interesting, actually. Just as the dungeons got excruciatingly long, the battles did also get more fun, especially the bosses. Both bosses are the same. To revisit a theme from last week, I admire this game's commitment to its bit. Good game design principles would say you don't give the player the exact same boss twice. But good world design principles say that if your parties are going to destroy the 2 generators, it would make sense that they're the same thing. Why would they be different? Also, you do have different parties. So the generators are neat. Each one that you fight, it's a big central thingy. And the central thingy has 4 little, like, buddies. 4 little, like, they're sort of like levers. You find out they are actually levers, but they kind of look like just weird little extensions. And when you hit the extension, it's one of those bosses where it doesn't matter how much health you do. What matters is that when you hit it, the lever moves up. It goes, and it, like, raises. You, like, knock it up, right? And when you knock it up, in the background, there's these 4. Think of it kind of like Mother Brain in Metroid. There's these 4 little Mother Brain thingies with these glass shields, and when you knock up the lever, it opens the glass shield. So you knock up the lever, you hit the thing inside. It's a lot of work to set up, but they don't have a lot of health. So it's like 2 or 3 or 4 of those like disintegration shredder spells will kill it, depending on which party you're using and who's casting the spell, because you do fight the battle twice. It's a very easy battle, but it is pretty fun because like one of the battles you have Thief Man, Rocket Arms.
Aram.
You have Aram, yeah. And he's positioned such that his rocket arms will hit all 4 of the levers, so it feels fun to go like do knock them all, and then you line up a really strong black hole with the other party members, and bam, bam, bam. And then with the other party member, you don't have any natural alls, but you do have a party member who can Lobo. One of his special abilities is an attack all. So pretty easy battle, but has some contour. The 2 fight times you fight it have different qualities to them. It was a fun time. I liked it. Going on to this battle. He just makes a shield, and the shield is a certain element, so you got to do the opposing element to kill it. So depending on what element he hits, whatever element you use is either going to do 0 damage, it'll kill it in 1 hit, or it'll heal it, which doesn't matter because it dies in 1 hit. So healing it doesn't matter. He summons mobs, and he doesn't take a lot of hits. He's really, really fast with his shield, though. So if you knock his shield down and are not immediately prepared to follow up with an attack, he'll just do another shield. So you do have to manage your stamina, make sure that you have a team ready to cast whatever spell you're going to cast. Keep yourself buffed, keep him debuffed, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was quite enjoyable. Wasn't tough at all, but it was quite enjoyable.
All right. So as Caleb dies, he says, the world will be saved. It must. And Maya's like, it will, but not by Daskius. And then we walk up to the bridge where Daskius himself is. And he's like, the time is short. Soon I will obtain the gift of the Creator. And Maya's like, I can't allow that to happen. The people of Septerra are not yours to throw away. He goes, no, they're mine to save or kill as I see fit. I am the savior. And the battle starts.
He said, saviorly.
So I actually was going to try and do this fight legit. And then Daskius one-shot Corgan and Maya, and I went, okay. And I hit Control F3 and I won.
That's funny. I am trying to remember what this battle even is. If it had anything interesting about it at all, even though it's the final battle. Oh, in case you're curious, sometime before the final battle, around the time when I was in the second of the 4 dungeons, I switched to the Snowstorm, a 9-part orchestral suite by Grigory Sviridov.
Nice.
It's really, really good, so please check that out if you're interested. It's on Spotify. And then after that finished, I switched to Tchaikovsky's first piano concerto, which is a piece of music that I thought I'd heard before, and I thought it was incredible. Turns out I haven't heard it before, though it is really good, except here's the thing, and this made me laugh my ass off. The melody in the first movement seemed really familiar. I was like, I've heard this before. What's this from? And then I realized that whoever composed the music for the NES game City Connection took the melody of Tchaikovsky's first piano concerto for the music for that game. Which, for the record, people using classical music to make chiptune out of is very common in the NES era. But when I found that out, I thought it was really funny. So if you're interested,
that's what the Tetris theme is. It's classical music.
I actually think that is not actually. I think it's actually an original piece of music.
Maybe not classical,
but it is composed. I mean, I think it was composed by the game is Russian, right? But yeah, it's definitely classical.
It's a Russian folk song.
Yeah. But anyway, it's very funny. If you were curious in hearing just a funny little musical thing, listen to the first movement of Tchaikovsky's 4th piano concerto, and then go listen to the soundtrack of City Connection for NES. Anyway, we only got like 1 movement in because these battles didn't take nearly as long as I thought they were going to. I think it's literally just you debuff him, he hits you, you hit him, he dies. I literally don't remember a single thing about this battle.
He actually, looking at the Let's Play, he has some cool stuff. So he splits into mirror images.
Oh yeah.
But if you use a attack all spell to take out the mirror images, which is what you would think to do when you're like, oh, now I have 8 things to handle. He counters attack all spells with a bitch of a spell that does like on the Let's Play, it's like 500 damage. So it one-shot Maya and
that's what I did.
Selena.
That's what I did though.
For the Let's Play. You probably just tanked it. Like
maybe. I mean, I did have shields. I did have shields up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't. If apparently it wasn't enough for me to notice that it was a counter. Because I was like, oh, there's 4 of them. What if I just did black hole?
Yeah. The Let's Play, he gets owned by it, and then before he can cast it again, he wins. So it's still not very hard, gotcha. But it is a kind of cool mechanic where it's like it uses I've played an RPG before against you, because why wouldn't you use an all spell? Because it's like, oh, I don't want to hit the wrong one. I want to hit the real one, but like I can get rid of all of them anyways. And so it punishes that, but it's not a very hard boss anyways. So Doskius goes down, and he's like, why do you throw your life away? Septerra's end will be in a few scant hours. By stopping me, you're killing the world. This battle is futile. The last of the shell pieces must be moved, and as the creator planned, Shell 2's northern wastes must rise to complete the rune. And Maya goes, oh, but that's Oasis. And then the conclusion is in an FMV. And it's a kind of cool one.
This FMV is a journey, I will say, while you're doing what you're doing. It has. I feel like this FMV has more plot twists than it has like half as many plot twists as the game has. Not that they're explained or anything, but it goes in some very, very, very surprising directions that had me going like, what? Even though it's like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
So Doskius struggles back to his feet and lunges at Kira and like slices her in the chest, and through her clothes, titty, but also so remember back a bajillion years ago, you got tattoos to look like Kira to get into Connor's thing. Apparently the plot hinges on that tiny thing, and it's like this part was so funny to me because the whole game has expected you to remember one-off things that a character said 10 hours ago to be the solution to a super involved puzzle. And that's how he also wrote the plot to this game, where he's like, oh, well, everyone will remember that Maya has tattoos now because of this one puzzle you did 40 hours ago.
Basically, the person who made this game vastly overestimated the amount to which I'd be paying attention to anything that happened in it. And that's not just because I'm streaming or because I'm a bimbo. Though that is partially that, but that's not all of it.
Yeah. And like, yes, it was at the time where like games would come with notes in the back for you to take notes on all of these things. But I playing this game would not take notes. Like it's not lampshaded as being something important for me to have even taken the note.
Write this down. It's important later. You know, it's not like in Zelda where it's like they use like the text like lights up a special color so that you know it's important.
Yeah. Yeah. So titty out, tattoos out, and Selena jumps in to save Maya and stabs Doskius right through the chest. So he ogles Maya's titty and sees that she has Kira's tattoos, and he realizes, oh, I might be Marduk, but she is Kira. She's actually the one to save the world. I suck. He says, I was wrong. It was you, Maya, all along. I may be of Marduk's blood, but you follow his spirit. You are truly his descendant. And then Selena is like, I'm sorry. I didn't want it to come to this. And he's like, no, there's no time. We must complete the prophecy. The device has already been delivered. It just needs to be activated. And so he tries to stand up, but he falls back down. Maya and Corgan are talking, and Corgan's like, the ship is on the section to be raised, as well as Oasis, which is Maya's home. If we activate it, we'll all die because we'll get gravity smooshed, as we saw happen to Prano. And so Selena's like, take Maya to safety and evacuate Oasis, and I'll stay back and arm the device. And Doskius is like, no, you go ahead. I'll start it. You can trust me. I wasn't the final boss 15 seconds ago.
They give him this whole redemption thing, and then what's her name is like, I always loved you, and I'm like, he's a psycho, crazy, evil guy. Why are you still like, I love you? They're doing it in a way where it's like a Darth Vader thing, right? Where like at the end he's sympathetic, but it's like, no, he's not. We just tried to be evil, and we kicked his ass.
Yeah, the game twice with Led's dad and Doskius both think that explanations are apologies, and it's like it's not. Like it was
not how that works.
And it was a really hard thing for me to learn. Like after getting married with Summer, is saying I'm sorry, I was just blah blah blah, is negates the I'm sorry part. It's a defense mechanism, and it's not actually an apology. Yeah. And both of these characters were supposed to just forgive creating a device that has killed a bunch of people, and then using the device that has killed a bunch of people. You don't just forgive that because it's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, you're the nice person, and I'm
to
not.
be clear, I'm all about forgiveness. Forgiveness is good and important, but you know, as I was ironically joking earlier, the person has to do some growth. He didn't do it. He didn't decide at the end to not do the thing. He just didn't do it because we kicked his ass. Like we stopped him from doing the thing. That's why he didn't do the thing. Ironically, Sammy, we're just talking about how these games designers and writers assume we would remember every single thing that happened, and yet they assume we will forget the horrible war atrocities that were committed by the bad guys.
Yes.
So we just
make up your mind.
We definitely remember about getting tattoos that one time, or that one guy on that one part on that one shell likes to cut lenses. And yet, if you ask the writer, didn't this person do horrible atrocities? They're like, what? Nah. What are you talking about?
No, they said I'm sorry.
No. He felt real bad about it.
I am really curious about. I feel like I kind of want to meet and perhaps have a drink with Brian Babinderdi, and I might say, what the heck, what the heck, Brian?
I don't know. Maybe we could get him on. I should hit him up. And we could just talk about Septerra Core.
Hey Brian, what the fuck?
If we could do that, like all of us just sitting here going, "What the fuck? What the fuck?"
I think we all like enough about the game and have had enough customer service jobs before where we could have an interview where we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
No. I would be like, I love and respect you, but just like, what the hell?
But also, what were you thinking?
I respect you and value you as a human being. Also, explain yourself.
And bear in mind, an explanation is not an apology.
Yes.
Although in his case,
I will be expecting
nothing to apologize for. Dude, no, he's not to blame. No, Eli, it's not his fault you have to play this game. It's me and Sam's fault you had to play this game. And
you two owe me an apology.
And all of our listeners.
Everybody who voted for this,
we owe you an apology. Ben, Bob, and Derby does
collectively owe me personally an apology, and I expect it in snail mail. Like, you have to write me an actual letter.
Video games are good, and it's good when people make art, even when people make bad art. So, Brian Babinderd, you didn't do anything wrong. However, Eli is. You are very indirectly responsible for Eli being very unhappy, but only indirectly.
Eli, you don't need to be mad at the developer. You need to be mad at Matt, Vimk, Brendan Benji Button Fraser, My Afro Ate My Dog, and Eli Bergmass. They're the ones that voted for Septerra.
Oh, even a fellow Eli. All right. You all personally owe me an apology. I expect it in the form of a card. It must be handwritten. It must be very, very sympathetic, and like you've put me through a great deal of distress and turmoil, and I didn't much care for this game.
Yeah,
I will say I wholeheartedly believe in people having the right to make bad art.
Yep.
Yes.
I think that like, because making bad art is how you learn how to make good art.
Yeah. Definitely.
However, how dare you people force me to consume said bad art?
So the
Just
final.
kidding. I love you guys.
It's really quite funny, actually.
Don't actually mean it.
It's really quite funny. Whenever I play a bad video game, I'm like, "Aw, you tried your best." But when I hear like bad music, I'm like, "How dare you? Go fuck yourself." I'm upset.
Yeah,
how dare you make me listen to this with my own ear holes?
My own.
Yeah, I love bad games and I love bad movies, and I sometimes can appreciate bad written word, but bad music is just bad music, man. I can't even
like I have the same
like someone will come out on stage.
Mm-hmm. No, go on.
Like someone will come on stage with like a lot of bravado and like own the fact that they are making bad art, and I'll just be like, boo, you fucking suck. Turn the house music back on.
Maybe it's because, you know what, let's just be real here. Video games are stupid, okay? They're bad. They're dumb. They're not worth anyone's time, okay? Whereas music and literature are beautiful and are indispensable parts of human culture and expression. So when someone does them badly, I'm like, you are besmirching like like you're like besmirching the dignity of the human race. Whereas if someone makes a bad game, I'm just like, lol.
I believe wholeheartedly in video games as art.
I didn't say they were art. I just said they were bad.
So much art that goes. All right, whatever. I'm not having this conversation anymore.
I'm being a little flip, but it does remind me of the one time when Chuck Tingle randomly tweeted at Zoe Quinn one time and was like, Zoe Quinn tweeted at Chuck Tingle one time and was like, Chuck Tingle, do you want to make a video game together? And he said, yes, what is video game? And she responded, it's like art but worse.
That's good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so final bit of plot so we can stop talking about Septerra Core forever.
God, please.
I will never.
We all forgive Doskius for some goddamn reason, and we evacuate Oasis
because he's dying, and you gotta forgive the people who are dying. I guess.
Absolutely not. Rip in pieces. Darn it! Who's the guy who sucks that died this week?
Caleb?
No, in real life. Rush
Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh.
Rip and piss, Rush Limbaugh.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw a tweet that someone had made a fake Rush Limbaugh account, and they wrote, "Oh my God, it's so fucking hot!" Ah!
Cute.
Love it.
Yes. Sorry. Anyway, Septerra Core.
Yes. So, Lobo flies in, saves everyone in Oasis because his ship is big and there are 12 people that live there. But Oasis then rises to the top and forms the rune. I was expecting this whole goddamn time that it was going to be like the mountains and rivers and ravines would like lock together to make a rune, but no, it's just the negative space in between. Kinda looks like a rune, like the rune glows and it's not even like a 1-to-1, so it's like magic must be, you can just do what the fuck ever if you want. But as this is happening, we get a voiceover, and this is the track that I haven't played yet because it spoils the ending of the game, because it's this track is the one that has vocals on it.
The narration the narration is baked into the music track.
And yes,
very funny.
So
makes sense, honestly. Totally get why they would do that.
Yeah. So the narration kicks in and says, we had brought the forces of power and wisdom together to complete the prophecy, form the rune, and obtain the gift of the creator. The core once again became balanced, and the people of Septerra looked to an unfamiliar sky. And up in the sky are 3 whole ass planets that just appeared out of nowhere. Hanging in the heavens. Go ahead, Eli.
Obvious sequel bait.
Absolutely. Hanging in the heavens were 3 new worlds, each with cities shining forth on their surfaces. Together, these worlds were the kingdom of heaven. And then it cuts to like an amphitheater at a college in the future, and everything is like nice and chill, and it's a watcher giving the presentation. And
tell me another story about the shepherd.
Yes. It's like each had gone through similar ordeals and had been judged worthy to enter the collection, to have contact with the others. On that night, my sacrifice, and then it pulls up a picture of Maya. So Maya apparently got enough by Doskius that she had to become a watcher. Mm-hmm. And then she goes, my sacrifice, Selena's love, and Doskius's repentance. I fucking guess he didn't actually say sorry. He did not even say sorry. He just said, "Oh, you're better than me."
He repented by dying.
Yeah, his fucking burning in hell had proved to the creator that the people of Septerra were also worthy to enter the kingdom of heaven. One day, when the time is right, the people of Septerra will meet the children of these new moons, and the exchange of ideas and culture will be more valuable than any mythical treasures of fabled power. But that is a tale for another generation. To be continued. Never.
Reminded me a lot of Beyond Good and Evil, actually. Which also
still need to play that.
Have either of y'all played that?
I played enough of it to know that it owns, but then I never got around to like.
The game has a really, really weird twist at the end, where the plot basically there's a huge twist that totally changes the nature of the plot and hints that everything you've just played is just the first chapter of something much larger. Not really like this. Like this is like the story's over, but now there's other stuff. Beyond Good and Evil is like no, like the whole thing's blown wide open, right? But it also does literally imply that, hey, those single planet this game's being taken place on, turns out there's all these other planets. Turns out there is in fact a universe out there that the plot is involving the whole galaxy or whatever. And then also just like this game, they never ended up making a sequel.
Yep.
I want to say too, like, I love when obviously bad games or movies set themselves up for sequels. Like, it's very ambitious of them.
Yeah, I respect it. Also, because frankly, look, lots of things that suck do get sequels, so shoot your shot.
Yeah. Yeah, just do it. Roll the dice, see what happens. Like, and maybe if you do get a sequel, maybe it'll end up being better than the original. Not likely, but it's always possible.
Yeah. Well, actually, I will say, me and Bernard talked about this a lot. Video games are a relatively unique medium in that I think video games are the only medium where sequels are actually usually really good and in many cases better. Like if you think about some of the best video games, like if I were to list out my favorite video games, most of them are sequels. Whereas in movies, it's almost a given that sequels are almost always going to be a step down, right? But I think it's because on some level, video games are to some degree iterative, right? They are some degree engineered iterative works. It's not just about the music and the writing and the design. It's also about like the battle system and the programming, right? So that's why I think a sequel to this game would probably be a lot better, because they would read all the criticism and make it better, right? Especially because we talked about how this game has so many pieces that are really good. Like the whole idea of combining like a kind of hardcore adventure game with a Japanese style RPG brilliant concept. It's just a shame they didn't get to make a sequel, because again, lots of shitty games, and I wouldn't even call this game shitty, but lots of other games that are really shitty get tons of sequels. So
yeah, there's 13 Leisure Suit Larry games. Come on.
and also imagine the other way around. Imagine if you wrap up your story 100% and then it turns out it does sell like hotcakes so much that fans are clamoring for a sequel and your publisher wants a sequel, and you the developer, the studio, has your chance to really make a lot more money and not have to be struggling so much as a smaller studio. Well, then you're going to feel bad for not putting a sequel hook in there. You feel like an idiot.
Yeah. Legend of Dragoon wraps up completely. People were clamoring for a sequel. The best they could have done would be a spiritual successor.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know what you want us to do here.
Because everything is wrapped up. Yeah. And one of the developers has gone on to been like, yeah, Legend of Dragoon 2 was canceled because how the fuck do you make a Legend of Dragoon 2? It was very singular. But... so let's listen to that audio track. Our last one. We'll finally listen to some more Septerra core music. And I read every line of dialogue this week, so I don't think there are any memorable moments. But I have a surprise for our final section anyways. Nice. So let's do that.
Brought the forces of power and wisdom together to complete the prophecy, form the rune, and obtain the gift of the Creator. The core once again became balanced, and the people of Septerra looked to an unfamiliar sky. Hanging in the heavens were 3 new worlds, each with cities shining forth from their surfaces.
All right, so
actually, you said you probably don't have any MMs. I have a very short thing. I want to share a few of the credits just because there's some funny names in there.
Go for it.
Also, when I was streaming, I started saying thanks so and so, thanks so and so, thanks so and so, thanks so and so to every single name on the screen, which was a fun thing to do.
Nice.
FYI, me and my friends have started doing that after movies. I encourage it because making movies is hard, and everyone who works on a movie, whether above or below the line, should be respected. So when, if the movie has really good cinematography, then when it has the cinematographer, the DP be like, thanks, person. Or even if it just had good, stuff, good lighting or whatever, be like, thanks, lighting guy. Anyway, so yeah, the game's designer, story, script, level design is by Brian Babindererdi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not. Also known as Brian B-Man, which is cute. The architecture lead and the sound engine and tools were by Roger and Bruce Dubs, who I can only imagine must be either brothers or gay married. Roger and Bruce Dubs. So shout outs to them. Also, with a name like Dubs, you'd think they would have been in charge of the localization, but I think that the game's pre-rendered environments were made by something called Terra Builder. I don't know what that is, but there you go. Let's see. Marty O'Donnell is listed in additional voices. I don't know who he was, but that's fun. Most of the games' other designers and creators are also in additional voices, which is really cute. You have a small studio like that, you got to do that. Let's see. What are some other ones that I noted? They have a special thanks. They have a couple of special thankses. Again, real labor of love this game was. Some of the special thankses are Champ, and another one is Cute Girl. Another one is Joanna, quote, Maya, what are you doing out here, Dubs? Yeah, lots of cute ones.
That's adorable.
Yeah, turned out this game was translated into many languages, so it's got a bunch of translation credits. The German...
It also has I think it has a Russian fan translation, so nice. So Maddie, if you ever want to play this game again,
I would love
that's
to play
how
this
you
game
should
in
do
Russian.
it.
That would be fucking sick. The credit for, quote, German PR, I don't know exactly what that means, I guess maybe literally PR, press for the German version of the game, is Esther Manga. which is just a fun name. Nice. There were lots of hard to pronounce German names when it got to the German part. And finally, the game is in memory of Robert G. Weiss, which I'm assuming Robert G. Weiss.
There were several in memory of.
Oh, really? Well, I guess I only screenshotted one of them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who that was, but presumably died during the production of the game. So, always sad when things like that happen, but also sweet when they get the respect in the special credits. So again, all these people, this was a very small team. Most of the names in these credits repeated many, many times. I didn't write down how many people were involved, but it was probably like 30 people. Very cool. It's definitely got the kind of feeling of a game with a team like that. So yeah, just thought I'd mention some of those names. Good job, everyone who made this game.
Definitely.
Okay, now go on.
Also, since you mentioned that it was such a labor of love, check out Twilight Tangents. It is B-Man's blog, and he has because this is the 20th anniversary of the game, he basically went through the rise and fall of Septerra Core, and he development diary the whole time through, and you can tell he knows he made the best game in the world, and he loves it with every fiber of his being.
Hell yeah.
And it's awesome. Highly recommend. It's a great read. Even just like knowing, things didn't turn out this well for him down the line or whatever. It's still just like he had a vision and he was going for it, and it's so good. I love reading shit like that.
Tim Rogers once said that some people say that making a game for yourself or making a movie that is just the kind of movie that you want to see is like pompous or pretentious. But Tim is like, no, actually, it's the least pompous and pretentious thing you can do. Who's going to know? How are you supposed to know what a good game is or what a good movie is? What, some board of people who do research on what other people's opinions are? No, if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? So the first thing that any artist should do is make something that they think is awesome, right? Which just makes perfect common sense, and hopefully other people like it too, and maybe they don't.
Yeah. All right.
That's kind of how I see my sense of humor. Is just like, I make myself laugh.
Oh yeah,
everybody else laughs.
You make a joke. It's like, how dare you assume I make jokes for your sake?
Absolutely.
These are for me. These are 100% for me.
Sometimes I'll make a joke and someone else will laugh at it, and I'll be like, "That wasn't funny. Stop laughing. Fuck you. Why are you laughing?
Are you making fun of me?"
No, it's more just like objectively, my own sense of humor has assessed the joke I just made and deemed it not funny. So the fact that you're laughing is weird.
Okay, so earlier today, I realized that we were going to have a pretty short episode. It's actually a pretty average episode, but I'm sticking to my guns. And I was like, we're going to have a short episode because there's like 3 things to talk about. So let's get some Q&A from the listeners, and no one responded. So instead of
we're just so open, they don't have any questions to ask us.
Yeah, that's true. What else can we talk about?
Yeah. So instead, I've been listening to a lot of the Insert Credit podcast with Tim Rogers and Alex Jaffe and Brandon Sheffield and Frank Cifaldi. There it is. And so I've been listening to that podcast.
Easily the most essential and notable of the group, frankly, because of his work with the Video Game History Foundation.
Yeah.
Shout out to Frank.
His GDC talks are amazing, and you should check those out. But their podcast, they do. It's an hour podcast, and every 6 minutes they have one question that they answer, and when the time's up, they have to move on, because all of them like to talk for 3.5 hours at a time, and this is a way for them to like force themselves to come to a decision. And it's kind of a cute idea for a podcast. But because of that, I have heard a bunch of really cool what if video game related questions, and so I stole some and am going to be asking them to you guys. So this one is I picked this one because it reminded me so much of Septerra Core, but What is the best aesthetic in the worst video game?
I object to the premise of the question. No.
Okay, so to reword it to fit Maddy's worldview, what is the best game that you've played where if the aesthetics were different, it would be a bad game?
There we go. Okay, honestly, this isn't exactly aesthetic because I waffle back and forth on whether I find this game's aesthetics cute and charming or whether I actually find it annoying and cloying. But I will say, Rare's games on the N64, especially Banjo-Kazooie, how on earth did they make those graphics on the N64? How?
How? Like, especially Banjo-Tooie, because like I played Banjo-Kazooie and like
must be some of the most genius software developers in the history of video games. I cannot believe what they pulled off on such primitive hardware. And yeah, you know what? Fine, fuck it. I'll say it. Banjo-Kazooie's graphics, yeah, I like its aesthetic. It's good, sure. So there's my not really on topic answer, but it's just what I thought of.
Yeah. Eli, do you have an answer?
Oh man, everybody's gonna murder me. Look, all right, I know it's not an objectively bad game, but I fucking hate Dark Souls.
I knew you were going to say
However, I love the aesthetic of Dark Souls. I would love to love Dark Souls. You have no idea how much I want to love Dark Souls.
I'm actually more surprised by the fact that you love the aesthetic than that you don't like the game. That's the part that I'm surprised by.
No, it looks so fucking cool. And like, I love like dark fantasy kind of shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay just makes me want to stab someone. But yeah, I really like the aesthetic of that game, but I won't play it.
Yeah.
I watch other people play it.
I honestly can't.
I watch others suffer.
I'm actually having a really hard time thinking of one. Every game that I think of has a beautiful aesthetic, I'm like, no, I legitimately really like that game's design. I'm not saying there aren't examples of this. I'm saying I can't think of any right now. But Sam, what's yours?
Yeah, I think there are probably some Super NES games that look great, but I didn't actually enjoy playing the playing part of them. Because when I still had my RetroPie, because I gave it to my nephews, when I had my RetroPie, I had downloaded a bunch of RPGs that only had fan translations that I had never played or heard of before, and there were several of them where I'm like, this one looks like it will be great, and then it starts up and I'm like, I don't want to play this. Actually, Here we go. Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. Like, I hate playing those games, but because they look so fluidly animated and I liked the cartoon, I put up with both of those games for way longer than they deserved.
I actually thought of an actual bad game that I enjoy the aesthetic of, even though it sucks. Like, even the aesthetic sucks. Bubsy for the SNES. I know, like, that's just an all-around objectively terrible game, but I played the shit out of it as a kid, and I still, like, it's very bright and charming.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Good. Cool. That's
it's
a good one.
The mob design sucks.
Yeah.
I still love it.
Oh, here's one. Here's my spicy one. Here's my answer to Eli. Eli's spicy Dark Souls take. Symphony of the Night. I don't think that's very good at all. I don't think it sucks. Sucks is a very strong word, but I think that its aesthetics are carrying the game almost entirely, basically. Yeah. Beautiful game, absolutely.
Also, gonna go out with a blanket statement to close out the question. Most Game Boy Advance games. The Game Boy Advance aesthetic, aesthetic, I really enjoy, like the WarioWare look, where it's like overly mode 7, bright basic colors. Like, I love that for a lot of them. I don't really want to play most Game Boy Advance games. It's not fun. But question number 2: if video games were a holiday, what would the celebration look like?
I'm going to try and pretend like I didn't read way too much Control Alt Delete when I was a kid, when I thought it was actually good, so I don't know what Winterine Miss is. Well, for me, in my very idiosyncratic tastes, it would look... Y'all know some of my thoughts on ritual and form. So to me, it would be similar to a religious, to a mass of some kind. It would probably be not more fun. I'm not trying to be like mass is dumb. I'm like, it would be a little goofier perhaps than mass. But it would be rigid. It would be structured. It would be a thing that everyone participates in. It has a communal feeling of togetherness and rightness. It would be, imagine if mass took place inside of Anodyne 2. I have not played that game yet, but I'm sure y'all have seen video and screenshots of it. Everyone's been talking about it.
I did a bit of Let's Play of it.
Oh, nice! It looks amazing.
I actually got a key for it.
Yeah. So imagine a mass that takes place inside the 3D bits of Anodyne, like a church that looks like that. And what else would it involve? If we had this sort of mass, it would involve a competitive. It would be a competitive event of some nature, perhaps strategic or something. Oh wait, no, it would just be football. It would be some combination of an Easter mass and football. There you go. There's my answer. American, of course.
It would be Jackbox Party Pack, but in a big old mass, and everyone just plays whatever the Jackbox game it is, where it's like the whole room has to vote.
No, we're literally playing
type
football.
Thing. You do that, but it's for everybody.
Like I don't
like football.
No,
I love video games. I thought you
were riffing on mine. No, you're saying your own thing. Cool, that's fine.
No, yeah. But I think that video games, the holiday would be like a week-long event, like a Kwanzaa or a Hanukkah type thing, and like each night would be a different aspect of video games, and so you might have like all of them would have to be the party game version of this, because I do not think that holidays that are purely about just one yourself, like they almost don't count to me. Like for it to be a holiday, it feels like it needs to be communal, and so it would be like, oh, we're going to do sports games on one day and then fighting games on the other day, and they would be like themed around that would be the days, and I think it would be dope. Eli, do you have any ideas for?
I'm just gonna go with your idea because that sounds great.
Yeah,
that sounds like the way to do it.
I'll amend my
all the
idea.
Genres.
Well, like you know how religions such as Christianity, but also others will adapt their customs to fit local traditions, so they're more popular. I will, in the spirit of anyone but me liking my holiday, I will amend it to be so it's a 7-day thing. Every day is a different thing that you do. It's very ritualistic, but it's also like a lot of fun.
They thought the batteries in the Game Boy would only last another day, but they lasted 8 days.
Oh my god!
And it was a miracle.
Okay, who among us has not been in that actual situation? Trip. Yeah, it lasted the entire car ride. You got all the way. You got all the way to like the 4th or 5th town in Pokemon Gold Silver before the battery died.
Yeah. Like who among us has not been in the back of the car for a long drive, and you turn on your Game Boy and the light is red, and you're like, oh no, I don't have enough battery, and yet you make it home anyways.
Yeah. Somehow by a miracle, the battery lasted the entire trip, and so we give thanks.
Yes.
To Energizer.
Yes. So question number 3 is a real quick and short one. What is your go-to video game palate cleanser? So like if you had just played, for instance, .hack GU last recode for the last 100 hours of gameplay, and you're like, I want to cleanse myself of this, I'm going to play blank game.
Final Fantasy 14.
For me, I need to cleanse myself every time I play Final Fantasy 14. That game, I get too into it every time I play it.
I'm
so I'm like, I need to
fairy
do
server,
something
and
else.
it's just everyone there's too horny, so I need to cleanse myself when I stop playing that game as well. I'm gonna go with either Mario 3 or.
Good one.
Mario 3 is a common one. I don't really have one too much, but I would say either Mario 3 or Metal Gear. It's not like I'm going to randomly play Metal Gear for no reason, but I do know. But what I mean is like again, almost ritualistically, like every year. So it's like, all right, I'm tired of playing new games that require me to like think and experience new things. Like I'm just going to go back and play Metal Gear again. You know, and by that I mean any of them. And then one more was actually the first one I thought of, and it was in my head, and now it's not. Shmups, specifically, Gradius 5. Those are mine, probably. Yeah.
I do like I like old shmups. I'm very bad at them, but I enjoy.
I'm not good at them either, but I do. Gradius 5 is incredible.
Both of you should check out Super Blizzard on Twitter. Because all of their games are great, but they are specifically working on a shmup right now that looks fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Your dude is a person with 2 pistols, so you have like variations on like one to the side, one at 45-degree angles, and mixtures of all of those, and you're mixing bullets and everything. It just looks fucking fantastic.
It's not like this like Toho or Ikaruga stuff, right? I'm not into those kind of shmups.
It is bullet helly in a Raiden way and not in a Toho way. So it's cool. Like there's a lot of shit going on and it's easy to die, but it's not like the whole fucking screen is.
One day I'm going to get into. One day I'm finally going to bite the bullet and get into Toho, and it is going to end my life.
The bullet.
I'm going to love it so much.
Yeah.
I could not play those games.
My palate cleanser is Banjo-Kazooie. I know Maddy just said it was a bad game, but it's actually great, and it's great in the way that like. I have the first half of the game memorized. I probably have most of the game memorized. I probably start to forget things around. I almost said Goo Lagoon, but Bubble Gloop Swamp. That's when I have to be like orient myself and remember things. But I have so much of the beginning memorized that it's just like slipping on a glove. And it's okay, well, I'm going to go.
That's me with Mario 3.
Do all the things. Yeah, and I love it so much.
See. The reason Final Fantasy 14 is my palate cleanser is because that's like I write with other people in it, like I role play. So like it's what I do when I'm not playing other games, basically.
Yeah. So last question, which is my favorite one. Pitch me the RPG Book Club tie-in video game.
Oh my god. Oh boy, this is such a fun idea. Okay, so this is not a real.
It's a party. It's a party of 3 people. One is extremely positive. All the lead character is extremely positive all the time, and just loves being alive. Really, yeah. And he's just such a good dude. And then there's the very like well-read like
Mitsuru Kyujo.
Yeah. We've got our well-read, classy lady, but who also enjoys terrible things sometimes.
Yeah, the social link with Maddie's character is you realize that she's just into a lot of dumb shit. It's like the main quest is just like, yeah, so I was listening to a Mahler symphony and was reading some Russian literature, and then in the social links it's like, so I was thinking and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain that like Pikmin is actually the best Mario game.
Y'all are being way too nice to me. Look, I'm going to shorten what Eli's saying. The three characters are happy, sad, and annoying. AKA Seth from Lost Odyssey, Kayam from Lost Odyssey, and Jansen from Lost Odyssey.
So we're just Lost Odyssey. Got it.
Actually, Lost Odyssey is kind of the RPG Book Club, the video game.
Yeah.
I'm as annoying and cursed as Jansen, but not as likable.
Yeah. Yeah. So things
and I do have crippling depression.
Things it would definitely have are social links, and it would definitely have cutscenes that are way too long, so that would be a lot of talking in it, and it would absolutely 100% require a random 3D platforming section in the middle of the fucking game.
Well, and the whatever avatar represents me is spending the entire time bitching about it.
Yes.
Like anytime that you fall, my character starts cursing up a storm.
Wait, no, I figured it out.
And anytime you succeed, my character starts cursing up a storm.
Here's what the game is. It's like it's like do you know Takeshi's Challenge?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Beat Takeshi, the very, very famous Japanese actor, director,
it's a Japanese game
and
show.
Other things. Yeah, game show host, later turned film director. I've actually never seen any of his films, but I've heard his movies are incredible. He also played Zatoichi in the reboot of Zatoichi, incredibly. Anyway, great, just a celeb, right? An amazing Japanese celeb, very talented guy. He made a game called Takeshi's Challenge for NES, or I guess it was Famicom, and the tagline was something like, this game was designed by a man who hates video games. And he does. And he's like, I hate games. I'm going to make the suckiest video game ever. And it has a bunch of, different mini games that are all just like really dumb. They're just all just like trolls, right? They're all just like awful troll games. Think like a Desert Bus situation, right? Which was also part of a collection. Or Angry Video Game Nerd, the video game, which wasn't that an actual thing? Someone made that. Anyway, so the point is the main character of RPG Book Club, the game, is Eli. You play as Eli, and you don't play real games like Lost Odyssey or whatever. You play like exaggerated caricatures of the games that we play, and they're all mini games, so it's like a WarioWare thing. And each mini game is just you having to do the stupidest, most awful nonsense. And then me and Sam show up as supporting characters. Because really, games need to have conflict. Stories need to have conflict and tension. And the only person who endures any suffering is Eli. So he has to be the main character.
I bring all the conflict to this podcast.
You're overcoming trials and tribulations, right? Whereas if it was me, I'm just like, this is great. This is all. I'm having a great time. It's not a very interesting story.
That's true.
So yeah, it's a series of increasingly obnoxious mini games, with of course fun, with like fun writing and shit, and then maybe some.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
But then also it's a dating sim on the side because it's Eli.
My social link would be very weird. And like it would mostly be me talking about like Undertale and obsessing over Steven Universe or Gravity Falls or whatever. Like and I just get more obnoxious in my obsession as time goes on.
Just like how the game The Witness, which is very... Yeah, have you play The Witness? It's a game by John Blow.
I've not.
It was the second game by John Blow. Very interesting game. I wish I could just say that it was John Blow's the guy who made Braid. And he also fucking sucks, turns out. But I wish I could just say the game sucks because it's got a lot of really awful, pretentious nonsense, and clearly when the actual game's plot comes into effect, it's like, oh yeah, you're like really libertarian. But it is also brilliantly designed. Anyway, and I can't deny that, right? It is. It's a brilliant puzzle game. Anyway, it's got one part where it actually does have a part where there's a little movie theater inside of the game's world, and you can watch an entire like 10-minute long scene from a Tarkovsky film. It's one of the Tarkovsky films I haven't seen. It's like a single word, Nostalgia. That's the film from Tarkovsky's Nostalgia, which again is not a film I've seen, though I am a huge fan of Tarkovsky. Anyway, so it's like that, but instead it's like an episode of Steven Universe or something, and just the whole thing is in the game. You can like watch it on your computer inside of a computer. It's like .hack.
Yeah. But yeah. So last huzzah before we can not be tied to an episode that says the words Septerra core in the title.
Real quick. Sorry, this came to me earlier. I didn't want to interrupt Eli, so I didn't say it, and then I forgot. I actually thought of my actual real. The fans might want to know. I thought of my actual real answer for Palate Cleanser game, which is to say a game that I have actually randomly been playing another game for a long period of time, and then randomly been like, God, I want to play this game. Like something that it doesn't just feel that way. Like I actually do that on a regular basis. Panzer Dragoon Orta, the fourth game in the Panzer Dragoon series. I don't have a copy of it or any way to play it right now, but whenever I do have a copy of it, that is like the highest game on the list of like game that I just randomly decide to hook up my Xbox and play for no reason. Usually because I'm stressed and just want to like fall into something that I love and is beautiful, you know?
There are that many Panzer Dragoon games?
Just 4.
Jesus.
They made 3 for the Saturn.
For me, I always thought there was the one on Saturn and the one on Xbox.
No, oh my goodness, like, Sam. Okay, first of all, this is RPG.
I'm
on the Saturn. Panzer Dragoon 1, incredible game. Panzer Dragoon 2, incredible game. Panzer Dragoon 3 is apparently one of the greatest JRPGs ever made.
Yeah.
And then Panzer Dragoon 4 for the Xbox.
Yeah, the reason my resolution this year is to play one of every RPG series is because I have played very little of very many important RPG series.
You know only one of them is an RPG, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure you're clear on that.
But I'm like, it just is very simple. That's why it's not on my list for 2021. Gotcha. But it's like there are so many blank spots in my gaming history because I only had an N64 until I bought my own PlayStation, and I had to buy everything for my own PlayStation. So I only had I only had X-Men or Mega Man Legends and Legend of Dragoon, which as the only 2 games I ever owned for the PlayStation. Pretty good picks.
Yeah, pretty good picks.
Yeah.
I'll let you know next time I stream the game because I am gonna. Okay. I've already actually streamed the entire first game once, but I just did that on a whim early back when I had like no viewers, and that's some good content. So I'm just gonna have to do it again. Nice. No, it's a fucking great series, all 4 of them. And the 4th one is objectively, I'd say, the worst one, but it's my comfort food one.
Nice, love it. So last point of order before we wrap up is announcing our next game. Since now we're codifying movie nights to be our last week instead of a bonus episode, I think announcing them at the final in the finale is probably what we're going to do from here on.
I agree. That makes sense.
Let me refresh the page and see if anything changed. I doubt it did because
while you're looking,
all of our patrons didn't give a shit about this one, and I had to beg several times to get anyone to vote, and it hilariously kept getting tied. It's like, oh, it's tie. I need a tiebreaker, and then 2 people would vote, and they would vote for the opposite one, and so it stayed tied for a long fucking time. But so I doubt that it changed since this morning.
While you're pulling it up, I am going to say, as someone who now owns a copy of Robert's Rules of Order newly revised latest edition, that is not what a point of order is.
I have not thought about the Rules of Order since Quiz Team for FFA, where I had to remember all of them, and so I know all of the
Robert's Rules for Quiz Team.
Yeah, weird. It's annoying. But so I had to no, it wasn't. We used it. They used it for FFA meetings. Quiz team. We were quizzed on the contents of the FFA handbook, which include an abbreviation version of Robert's Rule of
You're an FFA.
Order. Yeah, on quiz team. They brought me there because I was smart. I was there for FBM, Farm Business Management, aka Real Life Harvest Moon, and quiz team. And it was just because I was smart and they wanted to win trophies.
Oh, I see. Because I was like, you don't seem like you'd be in FFA. But okay, so someone was like, hey, you're a nerd with no interest in FFA. You want to join and be on our quiz team?
Yeah, exactly.
That actually makes sense for you.
Yeah, in quiz team and FBM were like all of my best friends were on there. So it was like, oh, cool. One night a week, I get to go over to Mr. Laird's house and hang out with my best friends and watch like Penn and Teller's bullshit and play Halo and learn about Robert's Rules of Order. That sounds like a great time. I'll do it. So just refreshed the page, and the next game we'll be playing is Brave Story New Traveler. So
what are the
super excited for that one.
Don't go all WFP on me, Sam. What are the vote totals?
3-2.
Nice. Okay. That's a stupid inside joke, by the way. That stands for Working Families Party. Don't worry about it. 3-2 though. Cool.
That's okay. Yeah, it was. We have. I think we're up to 7 monthly subscribers, and we normally on like voting months we usually get like 9 people that interact with our things. And 5 of them, after asking 3 times, actually voted.
Maybe they just couldn't decide, so they just like abstained because they just maybe they like had maybe they like were paying attention, but we're just like, I don't know, I'm gonna let the shit fall where they may.
That's what I'm sure it is.
Nobody
like,
knows what these fucking games are. And
so they're like,
wait, hold on.
I don't know. I'll let somebody who cares.
Wait, what was it? 2 to 3? Does that even hit quorum? I think I need to consult our bylaws. I'm sorry. I'm like this.
I am excited to play it. If you are like us, you already have a copy because it wasn't super expensive a long time ago. If you're not like us, it's a little expensive now, and they took it off the PSN store. So it is our least available but technically available game that we've ever played. But it'll be fun, and so they're not horribly expensive.
What is the movie that we're watching next week?
Oh, that is another good thing to do. We are watching Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
The fuck?
Great choice. It is.
I've never heard of that.
It is the worst film by the Wachowskis, but it's the Wachowskis, so their worst film is still pretty good.
Wait, it's worse than Jupiter Ascending?
Wait,
I thought it was Luc Besson.
Oh my god, you literally said Valerian, and I was thinking Jupiter Ascending. I did like a find and replace in my head.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Valerian is a very similar movie, actually, though it is significantly worse. I would say.
Jupiter Ascending was my like, should we play Valerian or Jupiter Ascending? And the reason why I picked
the wrong thing in my brain
is City of 1,000 Planets is very close to Planet of 7 Earths. So
I get it. Yeah. Oh boy.
So it's just hilarious that you misheard it as Jupiter, because Jupiter was in the running until this morning.
Fun fact: this movie has the special distinction of being, I think, the only movie Bernard has ever walked out of. It wasn't like this sucks, I'm walking out. It was more like I'm going to the bathroom and then never coming back.
Yeah, I've heard this movie is not as great as its trailer, but its trailer is phenomenal. So. Maybe we'll just book club the trailer. I don't know. I think it depends on how bad it sucks.
No, you're fine. It's good. It's fucking good enough. Okay, it's better than Highlander, which we did for this podcast.
True.
Jupiter Ascending, I saw in the theater with my friend Ruth, and we were like the only 2 in the theater, and we howled the entire time. It was one of the most fun movie-going experiences I've ever had, and it's such a terrible.
Yeah, Jupiter Ascending.
So I'm really excited to watch Jupiter Ascending because every person who knows me is like Jupiter Ascending sucks. And I'll be like, oh, I've never seen it. They're like, oh, you should watch it. You'll love it.
Yeah.
I know the type of garbage that Sam Allman likes, and Sam Allman will love Jupiter Ascending.
I actually think that if I were to call that a bad movie, it wouldn't be like it sucks overall. It would be like, no, if this is a bad movie, it is for a couple very specific reasons. Like it's not like the whole thing sucks. It's like there's a few things about it that really aren't very good. For example, the first 20 minutes are just really bad. And that's mostly because the first big fight scene isn't a very good fight scene. So that kind of sucks when you have an action movie where the first big fight scene isn't very good. That's just kind of weird, swing and a miss.
But yeah, I am excited to watch Valerian. It's been on my list for a very long time. Like since it came out, we were going to go and watch it. And then we had kids. It was one of those on the list where it's like me and Summer went and watched a movie every week, and then we had kids, and bringing a baby to a movie theater is a whole thing. So
thank you for not doing that as someone without kids.
We do that. It's just Flicks Brewhouse has Mommy Mondays. And so you go and the kids are screaming all the time, but you're like, I don't fucking care.
It's like the Alamo. They have those those times when they keep the lights up.
Mega Mommy Monday. Actually, yes, Mega Mommy Monday was moved to Sunday.
Yes. But one thing, because obviously the owners of Flicks Brewhouse and Alamo Draft House are listeners, what they should do is, because they turn it down so that it won't hurt the kids' ears, they should also throw up subtitles, because kids are fucking loud and I have to watch subtitles in my own damn house. I can't do it with 50 kids in the room. But that's the other thing to make it even better. But it rules. And so we watched Wonder Woman and Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel we watched on date night, so it wasn't we didn't bring the kids, but we watched a couple movies there, and we were planning on watching Valerian, but it never came out, so I'm excited to finally watch it.
Right call. I don't think Valerian's kid appropriate. It's not like it's anything terrible or anything. It's just, how sometimes you watch a movie that's PG, but you're kind of like, you know what I mean? As far as appropriateness goes. It's definitely, I think
PG means parental guidance, so
true. Okay, true, but just like, your kids are really tiny, is all I'm saying. The movie's weirdly.
Speaking of which, Scarlett watched The Walking Dead today, and she loved it. So I'm doing my part to raise a weird goth kid.
All right.
It's there's a whole Patton Oswalt thing about his daughter accidentally seeing a werewolf movie and him freaking out about, she's going to have werewolf nightmares. And then she ended up having nightmares about Schoolhouse Rock. But, that funny dog was wearing a shirt.
Also, I should clarify. Yep. Obviously, I would never judge someone's parenting. I wasn't like, obviously, if you watch Valerian and are like, that's fine for my kid, that's fine. I just mean that it's the kind of movie that if you watched it, if your kid showed it and you hadn't already screened it, you might be like, I should probably make a decision about whether my kid should watch this or not. You know what I mean? Like, you probably wouldn't show your kid Watching Dead if you hadn't seen it before.
Yeah. Because she's on season 2 right now. And if you've seen The Walking Dead, the first episode of season 2 is phenomenal. It's probably my favorite part of the whole show. But there's a part where this girl is trapped in the bathroom in an RV, and there's a zombie trying to get her, and the way she gets out is by stabbing the zombie in the eye a bunch of times. And like, we told her to close her eyes, because that's a little much, but like average zombie coming at it, it's like she's seen zombies, she plays Plants vs Zombies all the fucking time. Totally it's whatever. It's just some of the more gruesome kills she looks away for. But I could talk about my kids forever, so let's wrap up this podcast. If you like what you heard today, you could go and find us on the web at www.rpgbook.club, where you can support us and vote on our next games. As you heard, our vote totals are always less than 9 and usually about 5. So if you guys want to come and support us there and have your voice be heard on the sort of games that we play next, that is a great way to do so. We are currently gearing up to play The Last of Us on Shortcast. That is our next big donation goal. And here in the next month or so, we will be starting a Ko-Fi exclusive series for the Legend of Heroes Trails series. So if you love Trails and you want to hear those before everybody else gets to, those will be at www.rpgbook.club. Other than that, I'm done talking. So I am Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I am extremely excited to be playing Brave Story: New Traveler for the PlayStation Portable.
Yep.
Nice.
Did you already get the Vita back from Bernard?
Yeah, I already got it. I just couldn't remember if it was a Vita game or a PSP game. Okay, bye everybody.
Oh shit, I need to... Oh, there's my Vita. Bye.
That one is not good at all. Fuck, that one is not good. It's not in the game though. I believe it's only on the soundtrack. I don't think it shows up in the game.
Yeah, but it's. I think it was like the.
Is everything okay? Because I'm hearing.
Oh, it's just East Oakland. Sorry, let me close the window. It's just how it is.
Sometimes it do be like that.